The sounds on your MODX or montage not enough for you? And today I'll show you how to do it with 16 sounds. The problem of not being able to use all 16 sounds or all 16 timbres of the Yamaha devices is actually very old. I already had this issue 20 years ago with my X7. However, there is a workaround for this. It's not pretty and not always sensible, but at least you can use it. First of all, we need to connect the MIDI out and MIDI in of the device together. It's best to use a very short MIDI cable for this, so there's nothing hanging around. Connect MIDI out to MIDI in. Then we go to the utility menu under settings, under MIDI I/O, and switch the MIDI in out to MIDI so that it really sends back and forth via the MIDI cable and not via USB. Now, as we know, we have the following situation. Timbre from 1 to 16 is assigned to a MIDI channel. The first 8 MIDI channels can be played directly via the keyboard. The second 8, that is 9 to 16, can only be played via an external master keyboard or a DAW. Since we have now connected the MIDI out with the MIDI in, we can also use the master capabilities of the MODX or use assembly. We go into the timbre, for example, into timbre 1, go to zone settings, turn on the zone, and can now select a channel that we want to control. We will start with channel 9. This is the first timbre that we can control externally. We can also set the note limit for the zone here or transpose the zone octave-wise. This allows you to transpose sounds beyond just 2 octaves. So you can also cheat a little and send bank select and everything else, just like externally. You can play around with it more than just using 16 sounds. Since, as we know, we cannot change the MIDI channels, which I mentioned earlier, let's now go into timbre 9 and simply select a sound that we want to play along with timbre 1. Just for fun, I'll transpose it 24 tones down, and then go into my timbre. Back into 1. With the Yamaha, you always have to click at the top. When I click on a timbre, it naturally only plays that timbre. If I click at the top again, it plays both the acoustic piano, all other sounds, and also the strings. If I now go back into the zone settings of tempo 1, and if I transpose it again, or rather octave it, which makes more sense in this case, the strings are transposed 3 octaves down. That means I have transposed the strings by 5 octaves, which doesn't work with simple onboard tools. So again, a workaround to transpose more if I want to, and don't want to use the MIDI in out for other purposes. Or you need additional devices to loop and merge back and forth.